right, guys, welcome back. And today we're going to go through lesson 4. Just give you a quick view on how to get there. So open up the app, jump into Success Fundamentals, right? And lesson 4, boom. Okay, now today's a big one, right? Again, we have a couple of different courses for aspiring young adults, young athletes, and basically working on your foundational principles mentally that are going to help you build the right mindset to be able to really excel, right? And so we've gone through lessons 1, 2, and 3. You know, just keep in mind, for almost every sport you have 4 basic categories, right? So you're going to have the technical stuff, you're going to have the physical stuff, right? You're going to have the tactical stuff, so you do need to know the textbook and know how to handle that. And then you're going to have the mental stuff, the performance stuff, right? And again, my reasons for building this course is, you know, I was a professional tennis player for about 10 years. I was #1 in South Africa for many years, and I now have a son who is an excellent tennis player. And, you know, just like I did, and I'm just like you probably do, it's not that easy to find everything kind of condensed in one place so that you can now have just a nice framework that you can build on, right? But just recognizing that it's very important that you do, just like you work on building your strength or your endurance, and you put together a 60, 90-day plan, you need to put together a plan to consistently work on improving your mental game, right? Okay, so number 4, consistent self-discipline, right? And let's start you off with a good definition of discipline, right? So if we go back to lesson 1 where we talk about fixing your mistakes and improving your knowledge base, right? Consistent self-discipline is applying your knowledge on a consistent basis, right? So it doesn't matter how smart you are or how much you've learned. If you don't apply it, it's not going to be of any use to you, right? So you need to find an environment where you are able to apply it, right? Okay? Doesn't matter if you've been to every classroom, every seminar, every lecture in the States, you've read every book. If you can't apply that knowledge to a situation, it can't help you, right? And the reason that's a big deal is because, of course, what is the one thing that we struggle with is applying the top end of our knowledge in the important moments, right? When it is tight, close, the nerves kick in, etc. Okay? So just to have a kind of a general point of view, so knowledge must be applied, right? Once applied, you have to study the results of the action that you took and then look for ways to refine your method, right? So just think of it as 1, 2, 3, 4. Think of it as the scientific method of sport, if you will. Apply knowledge, study results, update your knowledge base if there's new information that's helpful, refine your method, apply again, okay? So now let's quickly talk about what does it take discipline to do, right? And this is a small list, but in order to stay positive, you need discipline. It's very easy to get negative, to get grumpy, to get frustrated, to break a racket. But work on the discipline of handling those frustrations in a positive way, right? It takes discipline to set goals. It takes discipline to manage your time properly. It takes discipline to go back, look through your results, and look for the things that you could have done better, especially when you win, hey? You know, a lot of people leave that section off too. Why did I win? So they're always studying what went wrong. But you need to study what went right as well, right? So make sure that you just have a formula for after matches, just doing your go-throughs and picking out the pertinent points, right? Okay, consistently bring value to your team. Incredibly important that you do that, right? Your team needs you to practice hard and to be on time and to, you look at a matchup like Nadal and Federer, you don't get that brilliant shot on shot number 21 against a guy ranked 70 in the world, because he can't get you to shot number 21. The point died at shot 6, right? So to bring out the very best in you, you need someone who can go toe-to-toe with you for long enough that they find the real depth of your skill, right? And same in practice, right? If you build a team, you want a team that respects that, and everybody is trying to take the other person really, really far into their skill set to bring out the best in them, right? Okay, confronting your fears, planning, executing a plan. So again, I'm guilty of this one where I have a good plan, but then I get nervous and I talk myself out of going with that plan. And the problem with that is you don't get the information, right? It's like, well, what would have happened if I had approached or stepped around and gone for the bigger forehand or used the drop shot? Well, now I'll never know. I'll never know if it was effective or not. So essentially, I got to redo the whole test in order to get it right. Compete hard every time, and so on. So you can go through the rest of that list, right? But it takes a lot of self-discipline to manage your life in general. So you do want to work on becoming a routine, disciplined, organized person. It helps a lot, right? Okay, so without discipline, your results will be sporadic at best, elusive, right? So you have to make a choice between consistent effort or random results and a lot of frustration, right? Your ego, and this is one of my favorite sayings, but it's very, very important, right? Your ego tries to magnify your value beyond your ability, right? And we hear this a lot. I should have won, right? And it's like, no, we got to make a correction that you could have won, but there's nothing that says you should have won, right? It wasn't like you were, winning and then the meteorite landed on your head. Yeah. Could you have won? Yes. If you'd made different decisions, if you, come up with a better solve here and there, you certainly could have. The potential was there. But should have needs to be taken out of your dictionary, right? Okay, so one of the things I see a lot is, especially with parents, is they believe their child should be doing better than they are, right? And then they look for all of the reasons why the child is being held back, right? But the reality is, you go out, you have a competition, and the result is the result. Whatever happens on that day is what's going in the record books. So I personally think it's smart to get away from should-haves. I think, could have. It doesn't make sense to compete if you don't think you have any chance at all. So hopefully your preparation has been such that you think, listen, I have at least somewhat of a chance to at least reach my goal in the match, which is to win a couple of games or to last an hour or whatever it is, right? Okay, so your ego will try to magnify your value beyond your ability, right? Unable to be completely honest. Every exaggeration of the truth actually eats away at your self-confidence because you lose credibility with yourself, right? You lose self-trust, okay? Just think of your habits as like a giant steel cable. The ones that have like a cable within a cable. So you have the ones wrapping around, and then if you look, the little ones also got ones wrapping around. But there's thousands of strands there, which makes them incredibly difficult to break. Just look at any suspension bridge, right? Okay. Those strands attach you to a behavior, right? They form little by little, slowly over time. But eventually that cable has a lot of things in it. It's quite difficult to break, right? Right? The only way to achieve new strong habits is through consistent, long-term self-discipline, right? Slowly, methodically, unwaveringly to get the job done, okay? So yeah, just think it takes discipline to say no to bad ideas, to be firm, to put your pride and arrogance aside and listen to your mentors, to develop a sense of urgency, so like we need to get going, we've got stuff to do, and then follow that up with a consistent implementation of those actions, right? Okay, so let's talk about the essence of discipline, right? Right? And we kind of went through this earlier, but consistent self-discipline is not applying what we know. Regular application of knowledge, doesn't matter how intelligent or knowledgeable you are, if you fail to put that into action, right? Here are the vital steps summarized for you, right? Here is a nice list of the applications of discipline, right? And understanding that without discipline, your results are going to be all over the show, right? And the last thing that I think is very important, and this is something that my coach said to me when I was a developing player, is, your ability to play and win matches, right, is the skill set, right? If you have to do handstands to do it, or play with, the racket the wrong way around, whatever you need to do to win, that's ethical, of course, that's what you need to find, right? So you really are trying to build yourself into someone who can solve complex problems under extreme time pressure. And when you're undisciplined, so you train really hard on Tuesday, you don't train very hard on Wednesday, you skip Thursday, then you do like an overkill session on Thursday and you do 5 hours of whatever, it's very hard to understand what is working, right? And that's a problem. It's much easier if you say, right, I'm going to go for, let's say, 15 more forehand winners per match for my next 10 matches, right? You show up, you play the match, you make a point of looking for 15 more opportunities, you write it down. It's obviously never going to be exact, so today I got 11, today I got 18. If the goal is 15, you can't do 70 either, so it's going to be somewhere there and thereabouts. And then you look at the results, right? And you say, okay, I've played 10 matches like that now, and the results are, I'm getting more break points, I am able to do X, able to do Y. You know what, let's keep that now because I like the results, right? Or, I'm not doing very well with it, I'm not choosing the right ball, it's making it way too easy on the opponent, and I'm not getting the results I want. So my new decision is I'm going to work on the forehand with X drill for an extra 20 minutes every day. And then after a month of doing that, I'm going to redo the goal of 15 forehands, right? So it's very specific, and it's very easy to measure how it is or is not affecting what you do, right? And it's a lot easier to make decisions, right? It's a lot easier to look face value at what is or is not working and go from there. So, all right, guys, so number 3, your disciplines. Again, if you do want to be very successful, discipline is an absolute must. There's no way around it. And so you have to get going on building a system of your own personal disciplines that you are committed to sticking to. All right, you guys will see you for lesson 5. Bye for now.